In this video we will add in the remaining doors for the ground floor. If you look at your plan, there are 3 doors that still need to be inserted: sliding doors to the outside, sliding doors between the 2 rooms, and a door window assembly at the front elevation here. We'll deal first of all with the 2 sets of sliding doors. So make sure that you're still on the doors layer, and we'll draw a line at the outside wall level and offset that by 100 millimeters 3 times. Next we can offset by 50 millimeters to put in a frame here in the middle. We can trim off either side and put that line now on the doors layer, and then we can mirror that around the center point of the sliding doors. Next we need to copy that line to the midpoint of the sliding doors. Then we can offset that by 25 millimeters, and then offset this line over by 50 millimeters. Then we can trim these 2 lines off here, and then we can copy that line down so that it's out by 25 millimeters there. What we can do is trim off that part of the line there. So now we have a frame and 1 door in position. Then we can copy this over and then just offset that marginally. So we'll move it up by 12.5 millimeters. What that allows is, if the door was to open, would be that door to slide back. And of course we need to indicate a pane of glazing in the middle there. About this other side then, once again we can copy the thickness of that door down there and trim off the end of the line in the middle and put a line down the center of the door once again to indicate the glazing. Now the principle is the same for the door between the 2 rooms here. Obviously this time the distance is smaller, so it's 100 millimeters. Again we can offset by 50. Well, this time we should maybe just offset by 25. And we can match the properties of that line over to the outside frame part. Then we can put a line down the middle and offset again by 25 at both sides. And we can trim off one side and the other, and then put a line in the middle and offset by 25, trim off, and then copy those lines over and then just move them so that the 2 parts of the door overlap but not by too much. 12.5. Once again, we need to indicate glazing in the doors, and that is the 2 sliding doors finished. The door window assembly goes in the front wall here, and the size of the double doors that open, the size for those doors is 1810, so we'll draw those first. And it's similar to drawing the frames for the other doors, so the frame size is 50 by 100. And then once again we can draw a temporary line here and offset by 1810, and we can copy that rectangle over. In this case then we need a line in the middle to show where the doors will meet in the middle, so we'll draw a circle from the midpoint of one frame to that midpoint, and then we can draw our temporary line for where the door will be, offset it by 40, the thickness of the door, and then we can draw a rectangle where the door would be inserted from the intersection of the line and the circle to the end point of that line, and then we can trim off 3/4 of the circle just to leave the arc for the swing of the door. Then we can delete those temporary lines. Then quite simply we can take those 2 elements and mirror them around the center point, and then we can delete the line in the middle. Now at this point we can also delete those 2 lines, and we can put a line or 2 in to indicate where the door window assembly will be, offset by 100 for the mid part of the doors there. And now we can move that into the middle. Let's just pick up the mid between 2 points here, midpoint and midpoint, so that door should now be in the middle. And what we can actually do is trim out the 2 lines in the middle here that we don't need, and then we can offset by 50 on the side and trim out that line. We can match the properties for this line, and then once again really we ought to offset by 50 at the other side here, and again we can trim to leave just the line in the middle, and put a line in to indicate where the glazing will be. And then we can mirror those elements to the other side. Now the only remaining thing to do with those doors is to turn them into a block. So with this one, you select all the elements, you would create a block, give it an appropriate name, with all the elements here, excluding obviously the elements for the wall, make a block with that, and again all the yellow lines there, make those into a block, ensuring that when you create the block you're on the doors layer. So at that point that should be the remaining doors in the ground floor finished.